Grant Cardone, he's awful, he sucks, he lost his mind. And I was like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? It was like really obvious that he knew nothing about selling in the real world. Like it just didn't make any sense what he was saying. Like it was nonsensical and everyone knew it. He just made a fool of himself.
Hi, it's Rob Moore here. Now this one's a bit of a controversial shocker. So I've got Jordan Belfort here unleashing on Grant Cardone. Now Grant Cardone's a friend of mine. I interviewed him, I think 3 times on this channel. And he went to town on Jordan Belfort. I didn't really have to say anything. And I thought it only fair to ask Jordan Belfort what Jordan thinks of Grant. There's been a bit of a spat between Jordan and Grant. There was this infamous video. So let me know what you think. Jordan absolutely unleashes. Who do you side with? Let me know in the comments and make sure you watch the Grant video too. But before you do that, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel. How good is Grant Cardone at selling?
I mean, from what I saw, he's awful. He sucks. But, you know, again, I think there's 2 Grant Cardones. I think there's the Grant Cardone of today, and maybe there was a different Grant Cardone many years ago before he lost his mind. I mean, I think the guy, something happened to him where I think he's no longer maybe what he once was. That's giving him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he never was anything. It was all a big lie. And that's common where people, you know, they use the internet to create a certain image and you know, he was just a passively okay salesperson. What I saw, the guy is just awful, knows nothing about persuasion. But maybe there was once a different Grant Cardone. I don't know.
So when you say, you know, when he lost his mind, what do you think he lost?
I refer anyone to the podcast I did with Grant Cardone, and you can understand what I'm talking about.
I will. I'll make sure. I mean, a lot of people I know have already watched that.
Yeah, they all know what I'm talking about.
I'll make sure everyone does. What went on there? What was that all about?
Well, you know, just I think that, you know, I think it was very obvious to everyone who watched that I had good intentions, no agenda, just was, you know, inviting someone on my podcast to try to have a really honest conversation about selling, about, you know, the different philosophies. Because I believe there could be many different paths to the same outcome. But as we all know, a straight line is the shortest distance to any outcome. So I know the straight line works better, but I love to hear from someone else and hopefully learn from someone else. And I thought my people that were listening, which is a sales-centric audience and entrepreneur-centric audience, would have something to gain by this. And then, so I just was really nothing but the best of intentions. And he came on the show with like, just, I don't know what, this like defensiveness and insecurity. And he seemed like he was high, although I don't know if he was or not. He seemed like he was agitated. Something was really, really bizarre about the guy. Like, you know, the guys, I mean, to this day, there's memes go on and on about Grant. Like, I can't post one thing without someone saying, no oxygen is oxygen, or got some, I mean, he created all these crazy memes because he just was saying stupidity it was like stupidity on top of stupidity. And I was like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? It was like really obvious that he knew nothing about selling in the real world. Like it just didn't make any sense what he was saying. Like it was nonsensical and everyone knew it. And I think he started to know it. And then he got all angry and he challenged me to a cage match. He was like 62 years old. And I just hit my shoulder because I'm like, Grant, yeah, let's go to a cage. He just made a fool of himself, you know? So, I don't know. I mean, I think he regrets that he ever did that. But when he tried to defend himself after, it almost made it worse because I mean, as much as the podcast, there was all these people making podcasts about the podcast, and they were just ripping him to shreds, like just to shreds, you know? And then he tried to defend it, and they ripped his defense to shreds. So I just think sometimes you got to just say, fuck it. It was, you know, let's just close that chapter. I think that's what he should do or should have done.
Was it awkward for you sat in there with it? Because I guess if you say you had good intentions and then it went like it went, you know, I haven't been in an interview yet myself. I've done hundreds of interviews, Jordan, and thankfully I haven't sat in one where it's been really awkward and I've just wanted to get the hell out of there, and that scares me a bit. Was it a bit like that, or did you enjoy it?
It was more awkward because, you know what it was? Like, I kind of felt bad for the guy. I tried to save him. I really did. It was at one point when he did something so stupid that I tried to stop him because I didn't know the guy. I did not know the guy, all right? So I had no ill will towards him, and he said something really, really problematic for him. He said like, oh, I charge one person $100 and I charge a corporation $50,000 for the same product. I was like, well, not for the same. I'm like, what the fuck? That's like, really? Well, if I'm the corporation, I'm gonna be pretty fucking pissed, right? I just had someone overcharge. I'm like, well, you don't mean the same product. No, the same is. And he just kept going he lost his collective nut, basically, right? So, it got a bit uncomfortable there. And then also I found it difficult to keep a thread of the conversation. He was saying stupidity. I'm like, what is he fucking talking about, the guy? And it was and then people started making fun of it, no sense is sense. And the answers were so stupid that I was like, well, where do you go from there? The guy's just talking stupidity. So it was a bit uncomfortable like that I had to struggle to keep it moving forward. There were many times I'm like, all right, well, if you don't want to talk about sales, let's talk about real estate. It almost got to the point where I couldn't even hold the thread of a conversation with the guy. Listen, obviously you don't know about this, so let's talk about something else. So I wouldn't say it was uncomfortable more than anything.